What is up, everybody? My name is Richard Terrell. I go by Kirby Kid, and you are watching the design topic of the weekend recap, or week cap as we call it. Design Oriented is a community. We talk about game design, we teach game design, we study games, and we have a daily design challenge for everybody who's in our Discord community. You can find out everything you need to know about us, who we are, what we do on our website, designoriented.net. But otherwise, in our Discord, we post these challenges every day, and people submit their answers. We talk about game design, and it's been a lot of fun for the past 4 or 5 weeks. You can find all the recaps on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/designoriented. But for this week, we are covering the topic of Kishoutenketsu. And if you don't know what that is, there's a perfect chance to learn, because it's a really interesting follow-up to what we did last week. Last week, we took narratives and we extracted systems, rules, and principles from those narrative videos and applied them to games, like game scenarios, gameplay ideas, level ideas, so on and so forth. But now we are going to do a little bit of level design analysis inspired by a style of comic books from Japan called Kishoutenketsu. Now, the style of comic is yonkoma manga, which means 4 panels, and the entire thing tries to get the whole story told in 4 panels. And as you can see from this image right here, you have Mario running with Peach, Mario stopping with Peach, incoming Koopalings, just running past them, and all of a sudden Mario turns around and Peach has been replaced by some kind of Koopaling that is definitely not Peach. But again,
Lemmy? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Iggy is a tall one. It's got to be Lemmy. Because it's not Morton, it's not Wendy, it's not Ludwig, it's not... I forgot all of them just now. Anyway,
Yep.
So
Let's go.
We're going to be covering some of the examples we had in the Discord right here on stream. But essentially, Marcus, you can break down what Kishoutenketsu, what the 4 kind of words, parts, phrases mean for us.
Yeah, I'll be calling it Kisho for short. This is a mouthful.
Yeah, you can read what you have here too if you need
Yeah,
to.
it's broken up. It's broken up in 4 parts. Ki, Sho, Ten, Ketsu. Ki will be your introduction. Sho will be your development, or modifying the idea, developing it. Ten will be your twist, your surprise. That would be the 3rd panel where things get twisted, maybe.
Something unexpected.
Put into a new context or new light. And then Ketsu, your conclusion, wrapping it all up in a bow, the ending of the stage. That's Kishoutenketsu. Like Richard said, last week in DO in general, we formalized, game design, and it's we formalize it in a way where people can kind of like take things in steps, right? So, just list out all the elements in the level, you list out all the enemies, and then you put them all together, and you're like, oh, those are all the enemies, or whatever your level. This way is a little bit more lyrical, a bit more storytelling-like, where it has a little bit of the mechanical part of it, like the development and the introduction, and the conclusion. Those are all things that you kind of like suss out very easily, but just by going by their base definitions. The twist part is the part that makes it more like a story you're trying to convey some type of idea. And unsurprisingly, that was the hardest part for all of our members. So you'll see as we go through these examples that the 10 part, making it into story and putting it all together, is going to be the most difficult part of the examples.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you said there. So when we're talking about level design, we're really talking about how the gameplay experiences and gameplay ideas are communicated through the gameplay challenges. It's something that we went over in great detail in the Mario Maker workshop. You can see here on the screen. Development was one of our final lessons out of 15, right? So after basic layout and coins and enemies and power-ups and then skill and then counterpoint and speedrunning and secrets, one of the final things we talked about was development. So even though it's just the 2nd step in the Kishoutenketsu, it's actually quite complicated to cover. But if you're having a hard time remembering which is which, key, here's the key to the subject that we're about to introduce. Why don't you show me some examples? 10, I'm going to give you the count of 10 to surprise me. And then Ketsu is when everything gets caught up, you catch it for a home run, some kind of a sport metaphor, time to sport. and then it all wraps up with that, big ketsu conclusion. But yeah, the twist being the hardest part for the people that participated this week is really interesting because if you're just going by strict gameplay standards, you're like, okay, throw some stuff in, make it harder, whatever, in the level, and we're done. But one of the things we learned in the Mario Maker workshop is levels are better. The reason why level design is so good, so interesting, is because it can convey ideas beyond just obstacle courses and random difficult challenges, right? Concepts that are actually transferable to TV shows, to comics, to movies, whatever, just ideas in general. And when you're looking for the twist, when you're dealing in the realm of concepts, you really have to think conceptually. And a lot of gamers in our workshop, in our Discord, a lot of designers, they're focused on just strict sort of linear mechanical manipulation of gameplay challenges, and we're trying to get them to think broader. So that was the ultimate goal for this week's lesson, and we're going to go over our examples right about now. But the first week's assignment, Marcus, explain what it is.
We're going to identify the 4 parts to Kishoutenketsu, right? Introduction, development, twist, conclusion. In the game, the creator of the concept, Koizumi, in the game he fully fleshed it out in. So Super Mario 3D World.
Yes.
So these will be the most obvious examples of Kishoutenketsu.
Yeah, so Kishoutenketsu is a thing that already exists. It's a concept in Japan, but he's one of the few that's ever applied it to video games, and this is the game that he did it the most strongly in. So let's go to our examples here. All the way up. All the way, that's a lot.
Yeah.
All the way up. All the way up. All the way up. Okay, cool. Galaxy Games, is that already still too late? Jeez.
You gotta go 3D World, buddy.
Maybe I should have just, oh my gosh, maybe I should have had a link.
Yeah, I probably should link. We'll do that in the future. Hey.
Okay, so flying, rushing. Okay, Monday's challenge is up and waiting, guys. Okay, Super Mario 3D World. Here are the 4 images. Oh, whoa.
Was a rebel to start with.
Without a cause. All right. Images right here. Cat Mario running through some clear pipes. Clear pipes shoot out to, I guess, a more complicated formation of clear pipes. These clear pipes now have, I guess the previous one had enemies, and these have enemies in it too. Enemies and spikes. Okay. And then
this one, interesting again. So like we said, the twist is going to be the hardest part. So development, obviously, the idea develops. And conclusion, obviously, has pipes next to a flagpole. So those are all obvious. But the twist is where we're getting hung up on the most. And we're talking about it before, like, oh, a twist. Like you think of twist, you think of movies. Like, oh, we're the craziest twists you come across in a movie. So like. On a scale of twistiness, right? I see dead people, right? Oh, that's crazy. Just totally flips the world you knew at that point on its head, right? Like a medium level twist is maybe figuring out the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park can be female or reproducing. Like it's important, but it's not surprising because
we saw a lot of dinosaurs.
The themes of the movie,
yeah,
right? And like a low level twist is basically something the audience can see coming, but the only person he surprises is the fictional character in the movie or show.
We call that dramatic irony.
So you're like, so in this one, Zara says this twist is Pen 05, which is, it looks like it's a continuation of the kind of linear track we've been developing thus far. Not so much of a twist as it is just a comic continuation of what we've been doing thus far. So yeah, you call that maybe like a medium level twist. We'll see later, but I just tell people we're trying to tackle this structurally, but the structure is supposed to illuminate what you feel naturally, right? If you play this stage, you don't get to this part in Panel 5 and go, whoa, crazy! Hey, whoa, I can't believe it! You're like, oh, cool. It's kind of like what I was doing before with a couple alterations on it. That's what you've been doing the whole level. So kind of get a natural feel of it. We're describing what you feel naturally, not trying to come up with the twist that surely must have been in the level.
Yeah, another way to describe that is the twist, if it's conceptual, it really hits you like a punchline. It hits you like a joke. Kishoutenketsu. Do we have that really basic manga example of the vending machine anywhere handy?
The vending machine.
That's like a classic example to illustrate Kishoutenketsu. I think Hayden may have posted it later. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll go with your example then. Let's take a look at Super Mario 3D Worlds. Or what's our world though? In this example, you see character running forward, the flagpole, and then you see the character jumping from the flagpole. Okay, that's developing, and then all of a sudden the flagpole sprouts wings and starts moving. Right, you can see the shadow underneath it too, and the wings and the bubbles. And you're like, the bubbles mean nothing. And finally, the conclusion is catching up and grabbing the flagpole. I think that fourth one could have just been the flagpole nearly off the side of the screen and the character running after it, and that would have been the conclusion. You don't actually have to show the end of the level to conclude the Kishoutenketsu, but yeah, this level was so surprising, right? It's a level in 3D world. You start off in this first left panel, and you start off looking at the end goal, right? And I think there's been other levels that might have done this before, but when you get close, you have to kind of like go into a pipe, and then you come back out on the other end after going through the whole level. So, you know, red flags weren't being raised the first time I played this. And then you go and you jump for it, and it starts running away from you. Like, this is nuts. No other level in the entire game, or any game that has flags in it, as far as Mario's concerned, has done this, right? And it just starts running, and you're like, let's get back here! And that's the fun of it. That's why
Funny, if you're having a problem remembering how you felt when you first played it, you can always find a Let's Play, and they're always shocked when that flagpole starts moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see belowhand, I compared it to, 4-panel Charlie Brown comic.
I'll zoom in on it. He'll kick my hand. I just know he will. I can't go through with it. You didn't kick the ball, Charlie Brown. Why didn't you kick it? Oh.
So yeah, you can feel like this is very similar setup, right? Oh, look at this stationary thing. Let me go for it. Let me go for it. Oh, something changed. Like Lucy pulled the football, the flagpole moves. Right? That's surprising. Or not in Charlie Brown's case, because that's his thing. But right? You're like, oh, that's in the 4 panels. There's introduction, development, twist, and conclusion. Right? Tell a simple story. Right? Also, in my 3D world example, 3 of the panels take place on the first opening screen of the level. Right? I didn't go. There's a bunch of other level elements and setups throughout the rest of the level. I just skipped, but that's ancillary to the story, right? The story is this. Yeah. And everything else is in between.
So
right?
Kishoutenketsu isn't summarize everything you can remember. It isn't tell every cool part of the level. It's merely a structural way, a very cool, lean structural way of delivering a very specific kind of conceptual experience, right? So, you shut off all the burden that you had doing book reports and all that other junk from school, and you just try to focus purely on nailing these 4 panels, and that was one of the primary challenges. Yeah, so key me in on the theme. Shower me some development. 10 chances to give me that twist. Catch you later. Thanks for wrapping it up. Here's another example.
You can skip this. This one's meta. You can go back when we start talking about our meta examples.
All right, so this one. Peanuts. Introduction. Girl walking by dog. Girl looking innocent. Dog not really knowing what's up. Girl beeping the dog. And then both of them running, right?
Girl and dog.
I mean, anyway. Lucy and Snoopy. Hey. Okay, so the twist. Obviously, first panel, no one would have guessed that Lucy is up to no good, right? Second panel, maybe, right? We're seeing a little bit. We don't know what she's going to do. Maybe that's just like her leaning to the side and saying, hey, Snoopy, what's that over there? Like, where's Charlie Brown? You don't know. Third panel, you definitely see. And then the fourth panel is just a natural conclusion. What a rascal, right? This is Hayden's Kishoutenketsu. Huge screenshots. Alright, meet your new friend. It's in the intro level. Development, your friend can bounce on enemies. Twist, dangerous path, and a secret in the distance. Conclusion, leap of faith for the final star. So, this is a summary of the level. And again, Kishoutenketsu is not about summarizing what happens in the level. Unless the level is literally like 4 little rooms. 4 individual screens of activity, you're gonna have to do some editing. You're gonna have to select your details and figure out where the Kishoutenketsu is. And this time, introduction, you can't go wrong with an introduction, right? Impossible. But what follows is, is
yeah,
important.
whatever you put at the beginning is your introduction. Yeah.
So development would be you can ride it, not your friend can bounce on enemies. Your friend will bounce on enemies is an interesting part of the gameplay challenges, but based on the introduction, right, meeting a friend, the next interesting thing to develop is how do you interact with a friend. Just like Lucy standing next to Snoopy, it's really simple sometimes. Development isn't a room to like add a twist. It's really just a continuation of the first. So it should be like, whoa, you can ride friend, and then the twist is like there's a whole like dangerous world for you two to like ride together through, and then the conclusion would be maybe like we got through the danger kind of a thing.
Yeah, you see how broad you have to make that? I was looking at a bunch of other racing levels, and racing levels typically don't have twists in them.
Yeah.
Right? It's a linear track with obstacles on it.
Yeah.
There's almost no room for, whoa, watch out, there's a completely new track.
Unless like a big old monster crashes in or something. You're like,
Yeah,
whoa, what the? Which
yeah.
has happened.
Yeah, that was a motor storm, right? The weather kind of like dynamically affects the track in meaningful ways.
I was just going to say Bowser and some of the ending challenges in 3D World. And yeah, Bowser does some tricky stuff. Okay, so let's try another example. This is Red Hot something something or other from, whoa, tiny picture? How'd you get smaller, my friend?
Yeah, the mystery.
The mystery there. Okay, so first panel, introduction. Toad running towards run panels.
Boost pad.
Boost pad. Development, boost pads with more boost pads. Third, the twist is boost pad with obstacles. In the conclusion, just boost pad towards the flag. Again, just stair-stepping up the difficulty in your examples is not Kishoutenketsu. Nobody would look at this 4-panel comic and be like, ha ha ha. You know, maybe a little bit like they threw spikes in, but come on, you gotta expect that in a Mario game. There's like hazards and enemies and spikes in every single level.
A general rule is if each of your panels is simple enumeration of the previous panel, you're not leading up to a twist, right? The first panel is 1 lane, second panel is 2 lanes, the third panel is 3 lanes. Like, that's not a twist.
And the first panel,
counting.
The first panel has spikes. The second panel has spikes in hazards. The third panel has spikes in hazards. So, like, really, that's not even a surprise either. So, yeah, that's the difficulty of identifying Kishoutenketsu. Video games do this, like, stair-step difficulty thing really easily, really well, especially action-based video games like Mario. So we really have to find something more than just action. Super Mario 3D World 1.5 key color changing panels open way forward. Show development.
I saw this level when I was looking for levels, and it does not have one. It's very stair-step.
Jump pads and then twists. You have to activate panels in an area with Magic Koopa. So the whole thing is about the panels. Yeah. So they're just like, okay, making it a little harder, and then enemy makes it a little harder, and then develop. Yeah, again, stair-stepping up the complexity linearly is not a twist. And even if you consider this to be like, whoa, it's harder. Like, yeah, it's harder, and maybe you didn't expect it, but that's all in what we should expect from video games, right? They get harder and then they end. That's how levels typically are organized.
You can call that development 2, right?
Yeah,
development is already harder than introduction. So development 2 will be harder than development.
So Super Mario 3D Land 1.4. Switchboard is introduced in a safe and easy manner. No need to jump, just hold forward. Development, there could be vertical layers that could be reached using the water spouts that shoot up. Trash. No, that was in response to
Our other member.
what if I take a mechanic in a level and I don't find 4 steps, only 2 or 3, then like then trash it. Get it out of here. Throw that stuff away. We're looking for Yonkoma, for example.
Is that JD?
I think he looks a little chunky.
I mean, it would be him actually, but that's in Scrubs.
Yeah, that looks like it. Let me see what the save link says. Dumpster trash can hide jump to trash skiff. I don't know. It doesn't say Scrubs. Anyway, twist. Now you have a symmetrical section of 2 levels of verticality with goodies on each. Again, that's just more of the same. And conclusion, using the switchboard to get to the flagpole.
That's a good conclusion. Yeah, the 3D lands and worlds have really good conclusions to them.
Mm-hmm.
They usually use the main level element in a way to get to the flagpole.
Let's take a look at Lori's. Lori's! Okay, so 4-2. So another cool thing about this is if you do Kishoutenketsu, what's beautiful about it, just like a Japanese haiku, is its lack of complexity, its elegance. And Kishoutenketsu is supposed to be self-evident, right? You're supposed to look at the pictures for the most part and just be like, ha ha ha, and then end, right? That's how simple we're going for. So I like it that these images aren't trying to explain it first, at least show it to me first. So blocks, making a vertical thing, and blocks.
But it should, yeah, the story you tell yourself shouldn't be too much more difficult or complex than that.
Mm-hmm.
But you are missing some progression, so you can see what the words say.
Okay. Key. Blocks generated with the exclamation block are used to reach high places. Show. Same blocks used for reaching far away places on the same level. 10. Same blocks used for wall jumping to a star. Ketsu. Same blocks used for the further in the flagpole at the end. Yeah, just development, right? Using it for one thing, using it for another thing, using it for a third thing. No twist in that progression. This doesn't... you wouldn't laugh at this third panel because it's just more of a line of what the first 2 panels were expecting. So yeah.
We really need to get like people in here to play these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch them as they play them and see how they react. Because again, like they wouldn't. Oh, ooh, I have to wall kick up a vertical block and go, oh, crazy! It's like, oh, interesting,
Mm-hmm.
right? like it would to give partial credit, then maybe be a medium twist. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, stream went down.
Stream went down?
Let's see. Restart.
Looks like it's still good at my end. Green bars, 30 frames per second. Okay, cool. Live for 25 minutes. All right, we gotta keep moving. Too long.
Yeah.
So we'll go over.
Keep on going.
All this stuff is in the Discord if you guys want to take a longer look at it. Key, moving platforms that change when you jump. Show, piranha plants, flip. Now the same platforms use vertical context and piranha plants. 10. The expanding hazardous fields means that you are forced to jump at certain intervals, collecting the green stars. Tetsu, a path to the flagpole, generated very simple use of platforms.
Yeah, this is the example the creator used,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, that is the twist. People usually don't like enumerate all the things that why this is a twist. The twist is awesome because you're getting double cherries, and the lasers are there, and the flip switches are there, and the green coins are there. So you basically had all those things separate, and then they smash them all together in a new setup. You're like, oh shoot! When you play the part, it feels crazy.
Yeah, this part, you feel trapped. You're like, oh no, and then you're like, oh no, and you have to double back to get all the green stars or whatever just to progress. And you're like, it's forcing me to jump. Yeah, it's insane right there. Marcus goes over some more Charlie Brown, Gimcombo mangas or just comic strips. Just looking at the progression, right? Just breaking it down, and just seeing how the structure of the story can be applied. We got fundamentals of piano. What's going on here? But anyway, the next stage we look at Super Mario Galaxy Polestars, right? And now for something completely different.
We're on day 2 now.
Yeah. So the day 2 was what, Marcus?
We went over Super Mario Galaxy because in the interview, Koizumi said he initially had the vague idea for Kishoutenketsu while making the Galaxy games, and then they fully solidified in 3D Land and 3D World. So finding Kishoutenketsu in the Galaxy game should be more difficult. So yeah, we're going to up the Kishoutenketsu finding challenge by trying to find it in Mario Galaxy. Again, I warned them. I was like, Mario Galaxy is more like Alice in Wonderland than a 4-panel comic. It's going to be crazy. A bunch of ideas slapped together and then bound together by the weakest of thematic elements, right?
All
That's
right.
Mario Galaxy. So it's going to be hard to find Kishoutenketsu, and people
So
really struggle.
so key, find a drilly thingy. Show, develop it, drill through the planet. 10, surprise, this planet has a whole interior. And then Ketsu, conclusion. The conclusion doesn't have to be the end of the level. All right, so like in this case, if the whole twist is like the planet is hollow on the inside and there's enemies, like there's a whole level in the earth, that's pretty surprising. The conclusion can just be like, you know, grabbing the star and flying out of this planet, or drilling back up through the hole after you've collected everything, like something simple, right? Conclude, finish the thought. You don't have to be like, and then a boss, baby. Like, no, you don't have to do that. It's really, you have to really feel that the whole point, the whole entertaining part of this setup is the twist, and then after that, you're like, they've already gotten the cool part, now just let them off easy, right? Like, ease the brakes.
Funny, I remember playing this level for the first time. This is exactly how I felt. Right? You're like, oh, cool, got to get on the planet, use the drill to go to the other side of the planet. Oh, look at these towers on the planet.
Oh, that
Gotta
was
pick
sweet.
the right tower to drill through the level and get to the other higher tower. Like, oh, look at this small planet. Oh, I'll just drill through. And you're like, oh, look inside the planet.
On the
It was so
inside,
fun.
on the inside. Let's look at this one from Marcus right here. Key, cloud jumping, show, make a cloud with wind blowing. Twist, there's wind blowing vertically. And
That's kind of hard to see. Those are platforms that open and shut.
oh, they're moving
They're not-
platforms.
Yeah, they're moving.
And Ketsu, it's just you get through the moving platforms, and now there's just something blowing against you.
Yeah, the star. You see the star?
Oh, just concluding with the star.
Yeah, the wind setup to get the star. Yeah, I didn't like my twist there. It's hard. Mario Galaxy has hard twists to find.
Yeah, I feel like if it's hard to find the twist, maybe we should all go more basic. Like, key, person enters world. Show, sees a power-up. Twist, it's a cloud that allows you to fly and do all this stuff. In conclusion, you jump off a cloud to a star. Something like that, right? Again, having to generalize means that's the difficulty. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. More examples. Key, running across, show, lava, tin, the panels go up along the wall as well as horizontal and Tetsu, conclusion. Yeah, this is just straight up development, right? Incremental difficulty is normal for video games. Kishoutenketsu, the twist, has to fly in the face of incremental difficulty. Here's another attempt at the cloud one. Let's see what Bleach has here. Key, making a cloud landing. Show, wind gets blown by clouds. Key, twist, the area around you is going to move and crush you, and Tetsu start at the end. Yeah, it is almost the same.
So Akamara came in with the hints. I'm like, hey guys, you got to find levels with a unique power-up, especially if they are featured halfway through the level or unique level. So this is Matter Splatter Galaxy, right? You're like, oh, key, raindrop-looking things drop on the level and make platformable environments that then get eroded by this time-space. So you have to platform quickly to get across. And the key develops where it's in a more vertical environment, and then the drops hit platforms you have to walk, kick, and move up vertically as well as horizontally. Show your Spring Mario. What the frick? It's a vertically scrolling level with the matter splatter dynamic. So as the matter is coming up from the bottom, destroying your platformable level. So as Spring Mario, you have to bounce up higher and higher while your level gets destroyed. Like, oh man, it combines a lot of the things that's far, but the Spring Mario part is what puts it over the top.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like you'll send your friend. Remember when they made me Spring? You're like, yeah, we did. They made you Spring. Cool. Philippe's chain chomp works. Going for some.
It's hard. It's going to be separated by a lot of posts because his phone died.
Oh, Philippe, no! He's in the middle of it. So we'll come back to it. But hitting a thingy and then having the creepos come out. We got to just scroll through the rest of this though. So that's about all the time we're gonna.
We can go to day 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to 3. Just kind of power up. So Kishoutenketsu. Yeah, anime. Reach the stars.
Day 3, essentially the same prompt, find Kishoutenketsu, but use any game of your liking. And now,
And
unlike
fudge it if
Mario
you have
Galaxy,
to.
right, it's going to be they're going to be designed however. So it's your job to find the Kishoutenketsu there. Not that the levels actually have Kishoutenketsu. So you're going to edit and then manipulate and tell people what the theming and scenes are about to make Kishoutenketsu, right? So I picked Mega Man 9, Galaxy Man. Let's see.
Oh, Galaxy Man. There we go. Yeah, so like this was just more of like your general difficulty progression. Nothing crazy happened in the third panel, but we have this paper ball. So key, you're coming around the car. Oh, I didn't know this moved. Walls moving, impede progress. Timing is needed. Falling the platform.
Yeah, more progression.
More just standard video game. Key. I'm not familiar with this game, but let's zoom in a little bit. Key. I can't even tell what your character is. This is the guy who like cleans up stuff, right? It's like a hazmat suit type character. Water jets shoot you up. Show there's lots of water jets. Tin. The twist is there's there's like hazards.
So there were enemies or something that you have to defeat first.
And then Ketsu, the water jets are pushing you up into the hazards. And then little Goku, I didn't even see that.
I was like, yeah, I guess I'm like, you didn't respond before about the mini Goku.
Interesting. Yeah, it's hard. The twist, it depends on what kind of concept you're developing the first. And if you're developing the concept in the first, it's just like, here it comes. And the twist is just more came. Like, that's medium or weak examples. Let's see what Marcus has here with Galaxy Man. Key.
Galaxy Man here, right? We got Key, Medusa-like saucers in the level. Just like Medusa heads that kind of staccato your movement because they move so awkwardly. Then Show, right? More saucers, different level parts, staccato your movement. And the Ketsu, right? This little helicopter guy latches on to Mega Man and forces him to move horizontally much quicker than he could do otherwise. So then you pair it with these saucers where before you had to have very contemplative, careful movement. Now you're moving past them at breakneck speeds. Oh, whoa, crazy. And Show, or Ketsu, your conclusion, I cut off the bottom of the stupid thing. But this is the last part of the level where you're just jumping through a bunch of teleporters over a pit. The pit you can't die, and the saucers are kind of moving. It's kind of a how do you want to describe it? It's a fun part with low risk. So that's why I put it as a conclusion. It's a fun kind of release after the breakneck parts of the beginning of the level. So I edited the scene to make the Kishoutenketsu possible, right? The saucers do not appear in this part of the level in panel 3, right? Because the level design is such that they have the saucer dynamic developing, and they also have this copter dynamic developing. They never meet. So I'm like, oh, well, the copter is obviously quick, fast, and the copter and the saucers are slow, wavy. So if you combine them, right, that's like, oh, crazy. Those two things are peanut butter and jelly, right? Smash them together.
It's interesting. You just saying they never meet means there's a significant difference in them in the first place. Because there's a significant difference, putting them together is more of a contrast. Because it's more of a contrast, it's more likely to be a twist. And that's my thinking on that one.
It's funny, exactly how you said. I was looking through the level, I'm like, I need these things to be in the same scene, and they never were. I'm like, okay, I'm just making myself.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it myself. F and make the game yourself. Anyway, let's see. Key, conveyor belts with a ball on it. Show, enemies, conveyor belt with a ball on it. Twist, lasers, and you're on the belt. That's a double whammy, right? Like, you're on the ball, you idiot. And there's double belts. You're like, oh my gosh.
On the tin, the ball is you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Just totally flip the table.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Your conclusion, you get that.
DKC returns. Platforms that move, apparently. Jumping off the platforms when there's no space. Okay. Hovering off the platforms when there's no space. And then ducking on the platform when there's no space.
Yeah, tough. More development.
What could it... I don't even understand the progression. Is he hitting switches? You hit the switches to keep him going. I guess that's what this first panel is showing.
Yes,
okay, so this first one is you got to leave your comfort zone, and they're trying to tell you that ahead of time by forcing you around it. This third one is like now you got to leave and maybe stay away from your platform for a long period of time. Maybe like hover or bounce off enemies, kind of like leaving your doing two paths. The first one, there's only one path forward. The third one is like two paths, but yeah, it's still more development, but it's pretty neat. That's a neat level.
That's interesting. I don't know if that's what he meant, but we were basically trying to make it Kishoutenketsu. That's interesting.
And the fact that the art in the stage is the old-fashioned Donkey Kong like scaffolding, pink scaffolds, which I love, and it's built into the art built into these panels and stuff. Man, I love it how Nintendo recycles their old properties like that. I love it. Dynamite Heady.
I will say these are a bunch of platforms that you trigger by hitting them.
Yeah, so it looks like he hit the thing that says "hit me." Okay, I get it. And then the platform moves out of your way. Then he says "shoot," so you have to hit these blue platforms that slide to the side, allowing you to progress. Then it's a swinging platform, and you hit it. And then it's just you hit maybe the hit me again, and then the conveyor belts start moving in the direction you need them to. Okay.
So I thought this one, I think if it is one, right, the first two panels have platforms that are static, right? Like, oh, I got to overcome this challenge, and then pretty much the challenge is solved after you hit the platform. But this third one, right, it's a moving platform. So, oh, you activated another challenge. You have to platform with this moving thing. That's what I if it is one.
That looks like some cool level design, too. 10. Later, the player has to hit the swinging ball, and it preserves momentum based on where and when it was hit, and when they ride that over the gap. That's interesting. More stuff. Here's the rest of the examples from Philippe. So, Mega Man being shot at, okay, on a platform. Now platform's on dangerous part. Twist is these banded platforms slide from right to left, reverse of the other one, so if you can't go with the flow sign, you'll need to think ahead and plan your jumps accordingly. Yeah, it's just more development. The twist is they go from right to left instead of left to right. You're like, it's not much of a twist. But it is interesting gameplay-wise. Make no mistake. Ketsu one banded.
Tony
Tony
did a lot of work. And we think we did it. I think he did it.
Okay, here we go, Tony.
Hit him up with that, Tony.
Okay. Intro. Wind coming out of a thing allows you to reach higher platform. It's a big saxophone looking thing. Show multiple wind pipes going from pipe to pipe, and you have some grass up here so you can really understand how crazy it is if you fall down there, and some enemies that I think take 2 hits to destroy, maybe. Twist. Now you're in a gigantic windpipe, and there's wind everywhere. There's no place where there's no wind, and you're constantly moving up a vertical level, and then you reach the end. I think this was one of our strongest examples. Online Tony, everybody. The fact that, just like what you said, you are the ball from the Zelda one, which was one of the stronger examples. This one's like, you're in one.
Yeah, I was trying to make the joke. Yeah, he's like, well, you're outside now. You are the saxophone. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, crazy.
Oh, you're like, you best stop believing in wind saxophone platforms.
That's great.
You're in one. Intro dev tweakon, because instead of writing Kishoutenketsu, he wrote intro development twist conclusion. So intro dev tweakon.
Alright, now we got fun times. Woo!
Alright,
Day 4.
Day 4, which is, we usually end these things on day 4 or 5, so Kishoutenketsu. Ignore the super excellent pun, it's so good no one can understand it. So we're using Frinkiac, Mobitron, and there's another one for another thing we didn't use to find our favorite TV show episodes, right? We're getting out of the realm of video games, jumping into the realm of narrative, and then we're going to try to, just like with the previous example, do what we can to cut and paste, hamstring, fudge maybe a little bit the sequences of the show to develop our own Kishoutenketsu moments, right? First example, and what's
it's funny, during the development of Mario Galaxy, they had basically a board full of ideas. Some of it was storyboarded. So you imagine, right, in general, right, you need to communicate your idea, right? In storyboarding, Kishoutenketsu is a form of it. So yeah, mastering this will allow you to better convey your game ideas during development. Okay.
Cool. First one. No children. Don't leave. Learning Roman numerals is important. Next scene. Caution. Exit through door 7 only. All other rooms contain man-eating tigers. Twist. Roman numerals on the door. Roman numerals? They never even tried to teach us that in school. And then the conclusion. Banging on the door. Wait, I got it. And he's going to room 9. And it's not...
Yeah,
Man, this is so jam-packed. Simpsons, some super S-class level comedy, and these are some of my favorite episodes. So it's cool to think of a joke that you love, a thing that actually had a punchline, a thing that actually made you laugh, and then extracting the 4 precise panels that can tell that joke for you. Man, funny. Let's try another one. If we don't do something soon, we won't get any toys at all. I don't even know if Mark said that. And then Bart's like, I'll be ruined. He just pops up for whatever reason. And then later they show Bart, Tapushita non Chiju Mapu. It's a top stars map to the top stars' homes. And Bart's selling these little pamphlets. And then the conclusion, excuse me, are you Drew Barrymore? It's so bad. You guys can barely see that, but I'll do that.
Yeah, this is the tough part, right? The like punchline is, excuse me, are you Drew Barrymore? Yeah, so that should be on 3. Yeah. So the hard part is like, how do I get to 3 with only 2 panels? It's tough.
So I guess the first one we don't even know. We don't even need to know that the tourists are going to go away, right? So maybe the first panel should have just been like text ... we won't get any tourists at all. Bart exclaims, I'll be ruined. And then you have him developing this tourist concept by selling stars to him. And then he says, excuse me, are you Drew Barrymore? Then what happens afterwards would kind of cinch it all together. Yeah, because when you laugh in the show, I guess you might have laughed at this in the show too, because it's just absurd that Bart's even doing that. Monkey paw movie. Opening scene, person making the monkey paw deal. Second scene, person making wish on monkey paw. Third scene, something terrible looks like it happened. And fourth scene, something terrible happened. Now, hard to get from just the pictures. This looks like a very dialogue-driven scene, but the explanation brings it home. Father obtains wish-granting monkey paw from friend. Show, he uses it to wish for 300 pounds, which is a lot of money. 10, his son dies from a machinery in the mill, and the parents are given 300 pounds as compensation. Ketsu, the parents agree. They're like, yep. The twist is the monkey paw does evil things to get your way, or you gotta be careful what you wish for. It's a classic twist to that story. Oprah knows. I love this one. Madam, your children are no more than a pair of ill-bred troublemakers. Homer.
Lisa too?
Especially Alicia. But especially Bob. Well, I hope Bob fed you.
Well, I hope Bob fed you. Because I ate you
dinners.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. Especially Bart is one of my favorite. Especially being especially useful in the sentence. It's
yeah,
so funny.
The fact that you treat especially as a modifier instead of just as a phrase, right? Yeah. So as a modifier, like, whoa, whatever came before it in context, more, and then whatever came before that in context, more. But doing it on itself is just hilarious. It's so funny. Moving on.
You can skip that. That was a hard one. That was an experiment to try to do it for her in 4 panels. Really difficult.
I think this is a really good one.
This is Bleach's good one, yeah.
I always figured my wife was my soulmate, but if it's not March, then who is it? Where do I begin looking? This really goes beyond my training as a French salesman, sir. And the conclusion, now, if you don't want the sofa, I'll have to ask you to leave. And like I would just keep zooming out. Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, that tells that joke so succinctly. It's so good. And then this is a cool one to talk about all the variants. What's wrong, Lisa? Didn't you get enough lamb chops? And then outside, the moment you've all been waiting for, the pig de resistance. And then Lisa at the store, Apu, I take it from your yelling that you like my tofu dogs. Lisa, tofu. And then Homer, come on, I'll give you a piggyback ride. Oop, I mean a veggie back ride. So again, this is trying to do a lot from the episodes. This is like beginning of the episode or whatever, middle, end, or whatever.
And the twist, Lisa gives up. Everyone around her is eating meat. She can't possibly live as a vegetarian. That's not evident in this scene. So, like, we don't see Lisa giving up. We don't see her getting upset. And what I was trying to tell people before, like, the joke needs to be kind of in the pictures, and if not, in the dialogue, in the pictures. And if not, you're telling too much outside of it. So I was like, maybe your fourth scene should have been this. Good news, everyone. You don't have to eat meat, because she found out tofu exists. And Homer's like, huh? And then Dave started modifying it. New image 2. It's bad enough they're all eating meat. They don't have to rub it in my face. Exactly. Getting a really terrible experience out of it. And then he put it together. Meat in front of her with no dialogue. You can see she's terrified. And then you see she's angry. And then you see I don't have a cow. It's Apu's little vegetarian shirt, but Lisa smiling.
Oh, nice.
And then Apu and hanging out with new friends and just learning about a new way of life.
Yeah, with a bunch of hippies.
Yeah, kind of hard to tell what's happening in the fourth scene, but still, it's all there. So then tofu. That's an even more clear way of doing it, right? And then hanging out with the friends. Clappy clap clap. Anime time. This was funny. The twist in this funny anime scene where somebody's using psychic powers is that even though he's trying to set this girl that he likes up with decent people, all the people he got to participate in this little event are all scumbags, so he keeps going in and dragging them out physically because he's tired of the trash. So, like...
It's funny, yeah, we ran into a problem with, like, extended stories or long-running series, right? This is clearly the twist or the important part of the episode is someone who is following the series. Like, oh, wow, like, they're on-again, off-again kind of hinted to relationship. Shows another kind of, like, milestone as he stands up for the girl, right? You're like, oh, cool, but in full panel comic-wise,
it's not evident.
It's hard to establish all of those things, right?
Yeah. So that's why visual storytelling is key for Kishoutenketsu, and that's why it's particularly good to study in terms of level design and building games that can convey a lot through their visuals. There's another complex one, but Bully steals things, so they get a ray gun, shrink themselves, attack Bully. Bully gets ray guns, multiplies himself, attacks the town. Some conclusion. The guy gets picked on by his mom, and then all the little copies of himself also are sulking. Kind of funny. So Philippe's never even seen The Simpsons, so it's really cool to see how they go to an episode without the whole context and what they pick out. Key, environment, introduce eating in restaurant. Show, explores the environment and focuses on details looking at the main character surprised with lobster. 10, unexpectedly, the character takes the lobster out of the tank. Conclusion, Ketsu concludes the story about explaining the reasoning behind the character's actions.
It's so funny. This is it's kind of like explaining a joke instead of telling the joke. Right?
Character says laugh, and everyone laughs. 10 Ketsu, Kishoutenketsu. There we go. Spent a lot of time on this, everyone. It's gonna go on the thumbnail.
This is genius, y'all. Just focus, linger here a little bit longer.
So let me do this. YouTube rhythm heaven into whatever we call the song. So this is the original Japanese.
I can't hear anything.
Okay.
Wait, I can never hear you.
Oh yeah.
Never mind. I was testing you.
Into you.
So into you sounds like Keisho or
Into you.
Keisho. Or Tenketsu. Here we go.
Fosho is Kisho.
Tenketsu.
Crazy into you.
Kishoutenketsu.
Crazy into you.
Kishoutenketsu.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Into you.
Into you.
Fosho. Crazy into you.
Crazy into
It's a cool game. Yeah, Fosho's Keisho. So I turned that whole thing into this funny little Tenketsu, Keisho. And then the twist is all design oriented from the Discord channel, just sitting there looking at this madness with shocked looks on their face, and then the conclusion is I keep going deeper into the madness. Kishoutenketsu. Crazy into you. Next. So then I just go in and look at some of the examples people pick and just try to, patch them up, because that's engaging in both what other people do and what you think is really the whole point of communal learning. I buy an $8 lobster, fatten into an $80 lobster, and eat the profits. Good news, my delicious friend. We're not going to cook you. Enjoy your day at the beach. Oh, look. Happily ever after. But yeah, it's just like, obviously this is hilarious. This panel is really to set up the twist. Good news, my delicious friend. He's calling him a delicious friend. He's fat. Time to eat him. Nope, they're going for a walk. Or similar, we're not going to cook you. Enjoy your day at the beach to cook. What's wrong with you? He's a sissy. Someone's been coddling him. And the conclusion, Homer, not only was, it continues to coddle him.
Yeah, I also had my variant.
I like this. The water's boiling. Quick.
The water's boiling. Quick. Check him in. Come on, check him in. Let's go. In the pot. Pinchy stinks. I'm going to put him in a warm bath. What smells so good? Oh no, Pinchy. Oh, Pinchy.
Man, he cooked his lobster trying to pet. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's about it. Well, yeah, we'll keep the spoilerly.
And yeah, complex examples. Again, trying to put a lot of details into the scene and what's evident in the screenshots is not. It's harder to pick out what the story is. And again, this is all good exercise, right? Trying is the name of the game. Looking at what other people do is half the fun. You guys can join in with us every week as we do these design challenges of the day. You can see the old challenges. You can kind of come in, say hi, join in the voice chat, ask us questions, and you should be practicing design every single day if you are trying to be a game designer. So that's the kind of stuff we encourage, the kind of stuff we support on our Discord channel. You can find us at designoriented.net/Discord, or you can just go to our main website, designoriented.net. And we are trying to stop this exactly at an hour. We are at 55 minutes, so we didn't go over. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we hope to hear from you guys next time. See you guys.
See you later, everybody. Bye.
Kishoutenketsu.